Welcome to the Close the Chapter podcast. I am Kristen Boice, a licensed marriage and family therapist with a private practice, Pathways to Healing Counseling. Through conversations, education, strategies, and shared stories, we will be closing the chapter on all the thoughts, feelings, people, and circumstances that don't serve you anymore and open the door to possibilities and the real you. You won't want to miss an episode, so be sure to subscribe. Welcome to this week's Close the Chapter podcast. I'm so happy you're here with me. If you're not following the Close the Chapter podcast or me on social, you can do that on Instagram or Facebook at Kristen, Kristen, Boice, Boice. It's got the D in the middle, stands for my middle name. Dale, for those of you that don't know, that was my maiden name. And if you want to get on the mailing list, I highly recommend it because I send additional content out to you free on any summits I'm on or any blog posts that go up. And that is on the KristenDBoice.com website. And then go into the 5-day journal, put your email in there, and you will get emailed every week when there's a new episode that drops. Also, if you want to subscribe to the podcast, write a review. I am deeply grateful for your reviews. They mean a ton and they help people know, is this podcast helpful or not? So thank you so much for writing reviews and subscribing. I so appreciate you showing up, sharing on social. It means a lot. And I really wanted to talk this week about self-doubt, 10 ways to work through and overcome self-doubt. There's so much self-doubt that goes on with each of us. Everybody struggles with self-doubt at some point. So when people say, I don't really ever have self-doubt, which I never really hear people say that, I'm going to go, really? Now, come on, people, we're humans. We all have self-doubt. And I really experience it with clients, especially that second guess all their decisions. They second guess what they said, how they said it, what they did, and parenting and friendships with their partner, on the job. The list goes on. So I thought what we do, first of all, is kind of define self-doubt. Self-doubt is a lack of confidence in oneself and one's ability. Also, there's another definition, so to speak, or someone wrote about online that I was just kind of doing some research for today's show. And it said self-doubt occurs when we lack confidence or feel incapable of doing things we need to do. People who doubt about themselves experience uncertainty around the things they can't control or worry about things not going according to plan. And what I want to talk to you about today is what is underneath self-doubt. Because if we don't really deconstruct it, it's going to be hard to change it. And what made me pick this topic is I was looking at my 7th grader. She is a 7th grader, and I floated back to my 7th grade self. And we know through human development that that is such a critical age, puberty. So there's 12 years old and through 18, and it really goes beyond that, is a really critical year in developing a sense of identity in who you are. We also know that 0 to 2 is critical in brain development. And that's why when we are teenagers, we don't want our teens to drink, to have premarital sex, all kinds of things sometimes, because, and not even premarital sex necessarily, but sex young, because we know it can change the brain and cause us to feel scared, shame, and insecure. So I was floating back to my 7th grade self because I'm a 7th grader. And 1 minute everything's fantastic. And the next minute she's angry, she's crying. You never know what you're going to get, which is totally normal for human development and that time in life where the synapses are firing and wiring and pruning themselves. And you're going to have to repeat yourself 10 times. And then they're going to swear you didn't tell them. Totally normal. It's because the brain is in development and the synapses are kind of pruning itself to make way for new growth. So it's kind of weaning away things we don't need. And it's not because they're not trying to be deliberately not listening. It's because it's how their brain's developing. So, anywhoots, here's where it led me. It led me to think about self doubt and how it develops. And I really think early experiences in life impact how we show up presently in adult life. So, I was brainstorming the 10 ways to work through self doubt. And the first step is we have to be aware when we go into self doubt, because underneath self doubt is fear and shame. We're afraid of what people think. We're afraid of making the wrong decision. We're afraid of looking stupid. We're afraid of looking like we don't know what we're doing. We're afraid of being unlovable, unlikable. And now with social media, this has exponentially grown self doubt. And what we end up doing is we compare our outsides in an airbrushed, filtered picture on Instagram, Facebook, whatever the social media platform is, TikTok for kids, teens, 20s, adults are on TikTok too. I realize we are looking at a storybook that is created without getting into the humanity of what's underneath. So, the first step to working through self doubt is recognizing when you are doubting yourself. And really, the second step is we have to get underneath what emotion are you feeling? What emotion are you feeling? We've been so conditioned out of our emotions, and especially boys have been told to shake it off, be strong, don't be a, baby. We've all been shaken out of our feelings. It's done us a disservice and it leads to so much more self doubt. So when we're on the internet, and if you struggle with this, I recommend limiting your exposure on social media. I find that people that are on the social media struggle so much with comparison. And that's on my list. We're going to get to, I'm just kind of knocking all my list out right now. We've got to connect to what am I feeling when I'm scrolling on social media. Sometimes we're not feeling anything because we're numbing, we're disconnected. And then sometimes we feel shame that not good enough, like, oh, look, she's so fit and such a pounds, and I'm this and I'm fat and I'm whatever the internal ugly, I'm unlovable. They have it all together. How can they have a Pinterest perfect home? And I've got looks like a cyclone came through. This is our internal dialogue. What am I feeling? I'm feeling shame. And underneath that, I'm feeling fear. I'm feeling sadness. So we have to connect to the core emotions. If you've listened to any of these episodes, that I'm going to talk about those core emotions, which is episode 27 or 28. You can go back and listen to it. We have to connect to what is underneath the self-doubt. Shame. The shame takes us down a dark hole. And then underneath the shame is fear, sadness, unprocessed grief. There's something back there that needs to be explored. So the other day, I'm going to tell you a story. It was a parenting moment. And my older daughter was in a singing competition for fun. Okay. That was her choice. She wanted to do it for fun. She made it past the first round. Then she got last place in the finals. And I had to take a deep breath. How many of us have felt like we didn't get picked in gym to be partners? We didn't get picked as a romantic partner. We didn't get picked for a team. We didn't make the team. We didn't get picked for the job we wanted. We didn't get picked for the friendship we'd hoped for. We didn't make the cheerleading squad, the football team. It doesn't matter that we feel like we didn't get picked. And then we feel like there's something wrong with me. I'm not good enough. We can all float back to some sort of sense of rejection that created a lot of self-doubt in our skills and our ability and who we were. We compare. We're like, well, look at them. They made it. Why didn't I make it? So it led me down this train to really evaluate, because it took her she felt humiliated. There was 4 that made the finals. Everybody got something except for her. So everybody got something except for her, which as a parent, we know our kids are going to have embarrassment, shame, humiliation, pain, rejection. They're going to experience that in life because we're human beings. I cannot protect her from that. And I knew that. I was like, okay. And I could prep her all I wanted. Your worth and value doesn't come from this competition. Even if you get last, it doesn't matter. We're doing it for fun. We said all the things. It doesn't eliminate. I can't protect her from the fact that she felt shame. She felt grief. She felt humiliated. Cannot protect her from that. It's part of the experience. And all I can do is hold space and acknowledge her pain, nurture her through it, and help her learn to self-soothe also herself through it. But she has to walk through the feelings. So this is what I was getting at. She has to walk through the feelings of feeling rejected, not good enough, shame, fear, sadness, anger, disgust, all of those things. If we don't process them, we won't get to the other side. Now, we don't want it to define us. We want it to refine us, which means I have to rumble through what was in that for me. I might not be able to do that. Most likely we can't. It's harder to do that until I get through the feelings. Then I can come through the other side and go, okay, what was the learning for me? Because we're led to health. The doors are going to close on things that aren't healthy for us. So even the painful stuff, I do believe that serves us throughout our life, because guess what? She will have more empathy. She will have more gratitude when things go maybe differently. She'll have a different perspective. So when someone else goes through that pain and I was able to hold a space, now I didn't do it perfectly because there's no such thing, then she'll be able to offer that to somebody else. She'll be able to have more compassion because she knows what it's like to feel humiliated. She knows what it's like to feel shame and less than and not good enough and doubt her skills and doubt herself and feel like she's worthless. She will know because she's been there and she can offer empathy and compassion. So we have to walk through pain in order to get to the other side. And I know it's uncomfortable. We say we don't want to can do hard things, but it's really, we can do uncomfortable things. That's really what it is. We don't want to be uncomfortable. We really just want to stay in our comfort zone. And if we never put ourselves out there, we never do and take the risk, but guess what? Someone's not going to like us. That's the thing. It's not even us. They might not resonate with my vibe. They might not like my personality. That's okay. They don't have to. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. If we hide because we're so afraid of rejection, criticism, and judgment, believe me, I spent so much time. I wouldn't have this podcast. I was petrified to have this podcast because I was so afraid of judgment. I was so afraid of criticism. I was so afraid of not being liked. I had to work through it. I had to rumble through it. I had to face it and go, okay, that's my seventh grade self not wanting to be liked. That's my seventh grade self. And when I said, you know what? It's okay. I'm not going to be for everybody. That's all right. I will be for whoever I will have, because I just want to be of service. So I will be of service to whoever that's supposed to be. It's not about me and my ego. It's about being of service. And so we're not always going to vibe with people. And there is a notification. We're not always going to vibe with people. And that's okay, is what I want to say about that. We have to self-soothe through that. So back to my daughter, she felt the feelings. We processed it and processed it. And at one point, I'm like, are we done with the processing? Can we move on? And I had to just breathe through that, hold the space, and know that this will help her in the long run. I know in my soul it will, because we're all humans. We're all going to experience pain. It's just different experiences will create the same outcome, the same feelings. So we have to develop one, awareness. Two, I say take a deep breath and lean into the discomfort. Here's the truth. It's not going to be comfortable. I understand because I practice this in my life. What I'm teaching to be of service to others is because I'm walking the walk. I get it. And we're living it. This is the human experience. We all have feelings. And when we have an event happen, it was normal for her to have those feelings of grief. That's normal. We're not going to pathologically make that wrong. No, it's normal for her to have sadness and grief and maybe some anger and having to work through that. We don't want to make it wrong. It's normal to have feelings. It's when our emotional reaction doesn't line up with the event that there's something underneath it that needs to be explored, which takes awareness. You have to be aware. So we have to feel our feet on the floor. Number 2 is feel your feet on the floor. Breathe through your nose, out your mouth, so you can handle the discomfort, so you can handle the feelings. We're not taught this. You have to hold space for yourself in your feelings. It's okay for you to have your feelings. It's what do you do with them? Number 3, this is critical. We have to acknowledge for yourself and other people that we're human beings. We're not perfect robots. It's an illusion. Instagram filters out the reality. Now, I feel good with the filter, I'm not going to lie. And it's not reality. It just helps me feel better. And we have to understand there's a filter going on some of our lives. And everybody has self-doubt. So we have to stop comparing ourselves to other human beings. They're human just like us. They have feelings just like us. They have shame and doubt and fear. Whether they say they do or not, it's there. I promise you, we all have this, whether they post it on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, or they don't talk about it or they hide, it's out there. We are not going to have a Pinterest life. We are not going to have a perfect life. We're not going to have it look like when you come in my house, it's not going to be out of a magazine. Because if we live here, my girls drop their stuff at the door. How many times have I told them to hang it up? Okay, well, we're not doing that. There's shoes everywhere. There's crumbs. They eat their snacks. It falls on the floor. There's cups. I mean, it's just we live here. I have to work through what other people think. It doesn't matter. What other people think will hold me back from being who I'm supposed to be. I will be a filtered version of myself. And who can connect to a filtered version of you? Nobody. You're not going to have deep relationships. I have to show up with all my vulnerabilities. Here's my house with the shoes everywhere, the cups everywhere, crumbs. It's okay. And then the minus, we had a bat in our house. Okay. Am I posting that on Instagram? Well, I did do a story on my bat story. That's another divergent here, but here's what I'm saying. My daughter calls. She says, there's a bird in the house. I say, I can deal with a bird. Get home. It's a bat. Okay. All right. A lot of people have bat phobias. I'm not a fan of bats. Anyhow, we got the bat. The bat is gone outside. I mean, the bat's gone. So anyways, long story short, that's the stuff we're not putting on Instagram. That stuff happens. So we have to stop comparison. If we don't stop the comparison game, you are going to doubt yourself and feel low and unworthy and like there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're human. And if you have feelings about stuff that's happened to you, that's normal. That's normal stuff. Number 4, we have to stop looking for validation outside of ourselves. We have to stop looking to others to say, do you love me? Do you think I'm enough? Do you think I'm pretty enough? Do you think I'm successful enough? Do you think I'm a good enough mom? Do you think I'm a good enough partner? We don't feel good enough. Let's bottom line it. We feel overwhelmed. We feel exhausted. We feel tired. Everybody does. Let's be honest. Everybody has these feelings of exhaustion, overwhelmed, tired, stressed. We have to stop comparing outsides and start going, yeah, they're human too. They have feelings. The comparison game will kill your sense of self-worth. It just will kill it. And then when we look for other people to validate us, we're going to be waiting a long time because nobody knows how to do that. We don't know how to do that for ourselves, let alone for someone else. Or sometimes we're like, yeah, you're so great. We cheerlead people on. That's great. And it doesn't really fix somebody or heal, I should say. We don't fix anybody, heal somebody's insides. Acknowledgement, attunement, and your presence is enough. Let me say it again. Acknowledgement, attunement, and your presence of being your authentic self and showing up with all your emotions is what is needed and wanted in the world. Your authenticity. Number 5, you have to watch our expectations. Are your expectations realistic for yourself? Underneath perfectionism and self-doubt is shame. And that can look like feeling stupid, not smart enough, thin enough, good enough, etc. Blah, 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 like I already said. And we have to stop putting on unrealistic expectations on ourselves. to show up for everybody, to be the one that has it all together, to be the one that gives all the time. It's not healthy. You can't sustain that. You will wear out. You have to take some time for yourself. This is something I have to practice, and it's hard because we have mom guilt or guilt that we're taking away from the family. And if I do not recharge, I am no good for anybody. I can't be attuned and present and acknowledging and grace filled if I'm not taking care of myself. Boundaries are what's okay and what's not okay. And they're the line in which I go, why am I saying yes to something? Why am I continue to be on the gerbil on the wheel? Why am I doing that? And a lot of times we're doing that to feel good enough. We're doing that to have worth, value, and feel lovable, to feel likable, to feel worthy, to feel important. That's all ego stuff that's rooted in inner child work. You can go back and listen to the inner child episodes that are super important for you to listen to, for all of us to do. It's work I do in my own life. The other day, for example, I was feeling after the whole competition stuff and my daughter's grief over that, it was tapping into some of my inner child stuff. So I was floating back to my younger self and remember putting myself out there. And I had to do some self care around that, nurture myself through it, acknowledge my feelings. So I didn't put that on my daughter. And I just took a walk with my husband and I cried. I cried on the walk. I'm walking the dog and I cried. And I realized that I floated back to my third grade self and remembering when my parents got divorced and I would write in my, Cabbage Patch journal about how I felt, put on my Barbara Streisand record, listen to The Way We Were, cry. Literally, this is what I would do regularly. So I was trying to process my feelings. I didn't have anybody to process that with. My parents were in their own grief, trying to do the best they could. I'm not putting this on them, even though I've had to work through some of that, but I'm at a point where I can accept my own feelings around it. And that's what I floated back to, feeling alone and having to do everything on my own emotionally. I had to process everything on my own emotionally. So that's why vulnerability has been hard. I would say uncomfortable, scary for me because I was used to processing that stuff on my own. And so that's what came up for me. I had to kind of go on the walk. I was talking to my husband about it. Even if I was by myself, which I do a lot of processing by myself, I would have just talked to myself. So I would have talked to my younger self, which I did also on the walk, and comfort her because it makes sense. There was a lot going on at that time and I didn't get to process. And what I noticed real time was I wasn't processing my feelings because I was giving to my daughter, which was appropriate. I wasn't nurturing my feelings. And so then after I helped her, I did that for myself. I processed my feelings and it was really important to do that. And I'm giving you real life examples so you know what this looks like. So it's not pie in the sky stuff. It's one thing to listen to this podcast and it's another thing to actually put it into place. Action, putting an intention is extremely important when you're doing your own healing work. You can listen to this till the cows come home, and then you got to practice some of this on the regular basis. You've got to practice some of these things. Otherwise, you're not going to change anything. Play the movie out. It'll play out the same way. So if we're not realistic about our expectations, we're going to set ourselves up for a ton of second guessing ourselves because they're not realistic. So if I want to have the perfect birthday party or I want to be the perfect friend, it's going to be a disappointment because there's no such thing. I'm human. I can acknowledge my own humanity. That's what we're practicing. Acknowledge your own humanity and your own feelings. Number 6, connect and name. Which I already said, I'm going to say it again, your core emotion. Witness it as it comes up like a wave and release whatever needs to be released. This is important. We have to notice our emotions, be aware of them. And then number 7, we have to notice where we feel it in our body. Our body and our emotions give us information. They come and go, okay? Like clouds passing in the night. They come and go. And we have to acknowledge them, nurture them, and tend to them to move through them. If we stuff them down, numb them out, move away from them, run away from them, they're going to chase you because they live inside you. They're here to wake us up and invite us into a deeper process. Number 8, practice nurturing yourself through it and developing self-compassion. That looks like, honey, it's okay to have your feelings. It makes sense you feel sad. And number 9, write it out to get it out and process it. Again, you're hearing a theme here, identifying and processing. And the last thing might need to be you talk to a therapist. If it's a habitual, chronic self-doubt, chances are you have trauma underneath it and it needs to be tended to. And your emotions match up what happened in the past, but might not match up what happens in the present. So we have to clear out our backpacks. Let's be frank. We all come in with baggage. Think of a backpack filled with rocks. We all come into relationships with stuff. I don't even know if I want to call it baggage, but that analogy of a bag filled with stuff, you bring that into your relationships. I bring that into my relationships. And it's important we're addressing it, we're tending to it, and we're nurturing it. So here's my invitation. Take these steps, write them out. And I know I was kind of wove through a lot of examples in between here. So the main thing we have to do is develop some self-awareness, decide you're going to do something about it. Decide you're going to listen to your emotions and your body and your thoughts and decide, are those true? Are those rooted in trauma? Write out what you think are the events that really impacted you, and it's time to process them. It's time to tend to them. So take this opportunity to know that you are loved and you're worthy and you matter. Those are the truths. The lies are that you're not enough and you're not lovable and you're defective and something's wrong with you and you're not good enough. And the truth is you are enough. The fact that you want to grow and you want to evolve, oh my gosh, what a gift you're giving yourself and to others. It truly is. If that is a goal for you, is to grow, keep going. Listen to books that inspire you, that help you, that encourage you, that wake you up, that get you uncomfortable. That is key. When I'm uncomfortable, I listen because I'm like, okay, what's that about in me? What is that stirring up in me? And take action. Take action. So I gave you 10 ways to work through self-doubt. Really at the bottom line is fear. And when you can go, everybody's got fear. I need to be who I am in the world. That's how deep relationships are created. Y'all have feelings. Share them. Talk about them. Let's stop the stigma of having this perfect life. It's a falsity. It doesn't exist. Let's be real. Let's talk about our self-doubt and our fear. And then let's take responsibility for it and nurture ourselves and have some self-compassion. Let's do this together. Join the Close the Chapter Facebook group. Let's start a movement. Let's do this together. Let's get real, authentic, and be of service in the world. We can do this as a community. We can be of service when we're doing our own work. I'm sending you many blessings and thank you for listening. And next week will be another episode of Close the Chapter to help encourage you on your healing journey. Have a great week.
Thank you so much for listening to the Close the Chapter podcast. My hope is that you took home some actionable steps along with motivation, inspiration, and hope for making sustainable change in your life. If you enjoyed this episode, click the subscribe button to be sure to get the updated episodes every week and share with a friend or a family member. For more information about how to get connected, visit Kristen, Kristen, Boice, Boice.com. Thanks and have a great day.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.